Hello folks, LA Little here with TA Today, and today I'm going to pull back, look at uranium again. We had some news on Friday having to do with uranium and the Russians, right? And we came out with this Russian ban, this temporary ban. The uranium spiked, in terms of the way the price behaved. You can see it here on the chart. Big spike up, got as high as almost 28. Ended up in the 26 range. Now, why was that? Why did it pull back? Well, I went to Grok and I said, hey, what was happening here? Why would it pull back like that? And of course, it gives me some reasons as to why it thinks, and you can look these up yourself. But I'm more interested in the technical picture. What is going on technically? Is this normal? Is something else happening? So let's take a dive into that. If you like these videos, please give me a like, subscribe to the channel, alert it so you know when I put them out, and tell a friend or two if you might. Let's look at the technicals here. So what do we got? If we're going at, I don't pay a lot of attention to this. This is a long-term trade in my view. I have a large position long-term, and mostly in this instrument, right? The UUNT, which is the SRUFF physical. And why that? Well, because I think here you just have a better chance of getting it right than trying to speculate in the stocks themselves. Now, I do have positions in the stocks, but over there, what I'm doing is using options to control my risk. So let's look at this. So rather than focus on the daily, I want to go to the weekly. Now, this is the UUN, which comes out of Canada, right? So it's got the dollar effect on it. Notice this change here. That's when it got over the swing point high. This downtrend ended on that change. It says it's sideways now. How do you know it's going to continue to be sideways? If it's sideways, well, you take this bar, that's the retest regen zone. So you get over it, you go up a little bit more, you come back in it, and you're testing this swing point breakout. What did it do? It did a full retest, got all the way to the bottom, right? And then starts to push. Now, it hasn't began to regenerate yet. It won't until it gets over this area. That's a regeneration. That tells you it wants to go higher. Right now, it's simply doing the sideways thing, right? Back and forth in this area. That's okay. That's expected. What has happened so far? All expected. What would be different? Well, the difference would be if you were to break out down here, violate this, or continue on up and confirm that. That's what we're looking for. You got some heavy resistance in this area. You got to get over it, and that's what it charged up into. It got pushed back. So that's uranium on the spot. Now the SRUFF is the same picture, but just a little bit different. Over here, you've got the dollar effect, right? This one never got over the swing point high because the dollar's so strong. And so as it came back up, it hasn't done anything to tell us anything different. But I like looking at the underlying versus any kind of derivative of it, which the SRUFF is with the dollar. Okay, let's move on to the stocks. Now, I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'm just going to point out a couple things. And I'll start with CCJ, which is Cameco. Now, Cameco is, the biggest stock that you can invest in, so funds typically go running into this. And this one has done everything you'd want, right? Nice big run up, breaks the swing point high, breaks that swing point high, turns everything bullish all across the board. A little bit extended here because of the run on the daily, but everything's fine. What is it doing? It's coming back and doing a retest regen. Where's that retest regen? Well, the first low is right there. And you can see here, price point is 52.50. That one was 52.67. So we got under it. So what does that tell you? Well, the fact that it couldn't hold this one tells you that you're more or less going to go in some sort of a congestion phase. And that's what this thing is doing right now. And so that's normal. There's nothing wrong with that. It just had a big run. It's going to congest and eventually try to go higher. That's the setup here. If we look at some of these others, I want to pull up probably what looks like the strongest one, which is UEC. And the reason I say that is because it's held everything just as it should. Here's your retest regens held. Here's the 2 swing point highs again that it came into. Retest regen on those held. So far everything looks fine. Same scenario, big push, a little bit of congestion, eventually trying to go higher. Over here on the monthly looks good. It hasn't quite changed the trend yet. It's got to get over this swing point high to do it. But I just generally like the setup. If you want to look at something that's weaker from a technical perspective, you can go to a UROY, which is the uranium royalty, and you can see here that this one is nowhere near its highs. Got over a retest, or got over these swing point highs on this move. Nice move up, but what did it do? It comes back down, bust this one out. Now it made a huge run doing the congestion, so it's the same sort of setup that we just saw in Cameco, but a lot weaker in that it's a lot farther down. And so, if I look over on the monthly, you can definitely see the difference in the charts. And so, yeah, this could run a long way, but why buy the weakest one when you can buy the strongest? My philosophy is always buy the strongest, right? No matter what you're doing, buy the strongest. Forget the weakest. You can shoot for the home runs. You can bottom fish every now and then, but bottom fishing is a hard thing. Just take this example. Let's say you're bottom fishing here. You got some sort of a signal. What does it do? It goes all the way up, makes this huge run, and then it comes all the way and takes it all back. That's what bottom fishing does. It's very hard trade. So it takes a long time, and we're talking about a year and a half here. So I wouldn't bottom fish. I'd go for the strongest. There's plenty of them out there. So far, uranium looks great. I don't see anything wrong with it. I'm going to stick with it. I think unless it tells us something different, the trend has changed, and we're eventually going to go higher. That's it for this one. Have a great one. Stay safe. See you next time.